Hi friends, it's Lauren. It's about 5:50 on Tuesday, so I'll see you guys in about an hour and a half. Because I have no talents, I will be making you some cocktails. Well, me some cocktails, sorry you're not here. I thought of a few different cocktails based on different liquors that people might like or might have at home, or stuff that you might want to get on Drizzly or whatever during these quarantine times. I figured I would start with a final ward, which is bourbon based, and it's one of my newer favorites. I think I called it out the other day because it has green chartreuse in it, and I was able to get like a half off bottle from someone I know down the street who manages a bar, which is awesome. So before I get into the cocktail making, I actually was just having a conversation with a friend yesterday about what I like to have to stock my bar in terms of tools. So I actually bought this set on Amazon. It's called Mixology and Craft. It's a 12-piece professional barware set that I got on Amazon pretty cheap. I looked it up yesterday to see if I could find it for my friend. And I think they're selling like a 14-piece one now, which is even cooler. But I use this all the time. And if you don't want to get a full set, I would say the things that you should definitely have are a cocktail shaker, at least one kind of jigger. This one came with two. That's how you measure out your alcohol, your liquors, your juices, etc. Mine comes also with a stirring spoon because all cocktails aren't just shaken, some are stirred. And actually just this came in this week. I got a cocktail like stirring glass separately. So if you need to stir your cocktails, this is what you use. Mine also came with a muddler. Haven't used this yet, but in quarantine times, I feel like I want to start doing stuff like making fruit purees and muddling like lime, cucumbers, stuff like that. I don't really use it much, but I should use it more. And the set also came with these little, I don't know if you can see that, they're like almost like fancy long toothpicks, which you can do to, stab fruit or like cherries, things like that. I will use this in one of my drinks later, but I just wanted to let you know that these kind of things come in the set, which is awesome. So now the final word is actually a takeoff of the final word, which is gin, but this one is bourbon based, as I said. So I already have my cup filled with ice. I have like 4 cubes. Usually, if I'm honest, during quarantine times, I make like doubles, because if you're gonna sit there chatting with your friends and stuff, you don't want to make a drink and then get up and make another drink. So I usually make doubles. But since I'm making a few different cocktails today, I'm making singles of everything. Obviously, if you want to double, just double everything. So the final word has bourbon. I have decided on 4 roses today. Green chartreuse, maraschino liqueur. I like to go with Luxardo, and lime juice. So a lot of recipes will say like fresh squeezed lime, lemon, orange. Like you don't really need to do all that. Like I like to have citrus fruits, but mostly for the peels and the garnishes. Regular lemon juice that you find at the store is just fine. And then I kind of upgraded my lime juice to Nelly and Joe's famous Key West lime juice. I found this on Amazon. It came in like a 3-pack and obviously lasts for a while. And then of course, once you open your citruses, you store them in the fridge. But this is a little upgraded, but it's not for a squeeze. I don't care, it's still good. So again, I have my ice ready. I have my jigger. This one is 1 ounce, and then the other side is a 1/2 ounce, which I definitely use the most. So I'll start with the bourbon. The final ward has 1.5 ounces of bourbon. Sometimes I put a little bit more in, but today, for showing you the right way to do it, I'm putting in actually 1.5, like it says in the recipe. And when I mean more, like sometimes I'll go up to 2, but never more than that, unless I'm doubling the recipe. So next I have the green chartreuse. It's just 1 ounce of that. It's actually an ounce of all the rest of the stuff. So it's really, really easy to remember. So like I said, 1.5 ounces of the bourbon, then 1 ounce each of green chartreuse, maraschino liqueur. Again, I go with Luxardo because it's awesome. And then finally, 1 ounce of the lime juice. Sometimes I go a little bit less with this stuff because it's kind of concentrated and fancy. So I went just under 1 ounce on the lime juice. And add this on, shake it up. Sometimes I shake a little bit longer than that. I'm not gonna make you watch that. You have a good old coupe glass here, which is, I'm using it from, I think, almost all my drinks lately. So this cocktail glass already has a strainer on it, but if yours doesn't, or if you're using like the mixing glass, I have a good old strainer here, came with the set. Usually I don't need it. So that is a final award. It has no garnish, so cheers. Okay, so for my second drink, I'm going to make a bee's knees, which I think I put in the chat a couple weeks ago. This is one of my favorites, but it's a gin base, and then it's lemon juice and honey syrup. So I make my own honey syrup at home because it's really easy. It's just half, or actually equal parts. I do usually half a cup, but it's equal parts warm water and honey. And you just kind of stir the honey in until it's dissolved, and then you can store it in the fridge for several weeks. So for a bee's knees, you have gin, again, lemon juice, honey syrup. So I'm using Bar Hill gin because it already is made with some honey in it. So I like that it already has honey in the gin. Again, I have a different shaker this time, so I don't have to wash the other one as much. But I already have my icing here. So it is 2 ounces of gin. Again, I'm using Bar Hill, but you can use pretty much anything. I just wouldn't use something like too wintry or like foresty, because that'll kind of counteract some of the honey flavor. So 2 ounces of the gin. Lemon juice, just store-bought from Star Market. It works. It's 3/4 of an ounce of that. And 1/2 ounce of the honey syrup. Made a new batch earlier today, so we're running out. Because I've been drinking during quarantine. Okay. 1/2 ounce of the honey syrup. And ready to shake it up. It's a little different. Now shaking is not only to make the drink cold, but also to dilute it. Some dilution is good, like we want a little bit of water in our cocktails. So it's okay if you shake it for a little bit longer. Yeah. So this is my bee's knees. And it asks for a lemon garnish. I'm not fancy. Maybe I should learn how to do like the little twists and stuff. But I do keep real lemons and stuff in the fridge, especially for the peel. Drop that in, and you're ready to go. Delicious. I'm not going to make one now, but there are some similarities between a bee's knees and a French 75. They both have the same amount of gin, 2 ounces of gin, and 3/4 of an ounce of lemon juice, which is exactly the same. But you add in simple syrup. Get it. So instead of honey syrup, you add in simple syrup. I like to buy mine from the store because it lasts longer, but I don't use it that often. But it's 3/4 of an ounce of lemon juice, 3/4 of an ounce of simple syrup, and then you top it off with champagne, prosecco, any kind of just regular dry bubbly that you have, and that makes a French 75. So you can start out with the bee's knees stuff and then just make it into a French 75 instead. And then put in your champagne flute or your wine glass and you're good to go. So for my next drink, I am going to make an Aviation. So I loved getting these at the bar all the time, like fancy cocktail places, but then I realized how easy they are to make. So it is gin, lemon juice, maraschino liqueur, again I make Luxardo, and Creme de Violette. So I have so much Creme de Violette because this is kind of the only drink I make with it right now, but this shit does like last forever, so it's fine. And then it's just a cherry. I have Luxardo cherries as a garnish. And I switched gins. I went for Hendrix this time. So then I have my shaker with ice in it. It is 2 ounces of gin. And Hendrix is expensive, but it's honestly like one of my favorites. So can't go wrong. So 2 ounces of gin, 3/4 of an ounce of lemon juice. Again, just store-bought. If you want to be fancy and like juice your own, have at it. And it's a 1/2 ounce of Luxardo or maraschino liqueur. And a 1/2 ounce of the Creme de Violette. And I'll give it that nice color. You'll see at the end. So then, of course, you just shake it up. Sorry, when I watch like bartending videos, I'm like, that's so obnoxious. But here's what it is. So this is an Aviation. You got that pretty kind of violet color from the Creme de Violette. Then you just plop in, use your little stick, and you plop in your Luxardo cherry. And there you go. One of my favorites. So this is my last drink for my talent show. I wanted to choose a rum-based drink for those of you who like rum, and this is one of my favorites. It's a daiquiri, like a regular daiquiri, not one of those like, oh, strawberry daiquiri with ice, like a real daiquiri. So it uses a light rum. I decided to go with my short Path Rosid. It's actually a hibiscus rum, so it's still a light rum, but it has that nice extra floral flavor. So again, I have ice in my shaker. So it is 2 ounces of the rum, the light rum of your choice. Like my Rosid from Short Path. Then it is 1 ounce of lime juice. Bringing back my Nelly and Joe's famous Key West lime juice that I bought on Amazon. So it is 1 ounce of lime juice. Again, I go slightly under with this one. It's a little more concentrated. And then just 3/4 of an ounce of simple syrup. You can make your own, but again, I like to buy my regular simple syrup just for the shelf life. That's it, just 3 ingredients. Really simple to make at home. Have like a refreshing rum drink. As always, shake her up. Now this one is supposed to have a lime peel garnish. My limes went bad. So I do not have the accoutrement for this one, but you can just pretend that it's fancy like that. And that's it. So we had a bourbon drink. In the final award, we had the bee's knees gin drink, the Aviation gin drink, and then I just kind of mentioned the French 75. I always like to have bubbly around for like fancy mimosas. You put Cointreau in there, make your French 75, a poinsettia, which is just bubbly cranberry juice and a little bit of Cointreau. Like there's a million things you can do with it. So cheers. So those are my cocktails. I now have 4 drinks ready to go. It's about 6:15 right now. I have my final award, my bee's knees, my Aviation, and my Daiquiri with roasted rum, all ready to go. So if I'm wasted when it's time for the talent show, sorry, this is my talent. So the last thing I figured I'd do before I sign up for real is show you my bar. I feel like some of you might have seen it in passing at my house. But most of the stuff, like it doesn't go bad. So I just try to stock up and I use it as like a treat to myself. The stuff that I keep in the fridge besides like the juices and homemade simple syrups are things that are wine based. So like my sweet vermouth and my Lillet have to be in the fridge and they do go bad. So I have to drink those. But for everything else, stuff up top, Short Path and Hendrix, lots of rums and gins and bourbons. I know the sun's coming in weird, so it's hard to see. And then I have like tinctures and different simples and bitters right here. Some more booze. When I went to Costco, I don't know if you can see, lots of booze. Half of this is my brother's though. And again, it doesn't go bad. So I like to stock up. All right, thanks guys for coming to LoJo's bar. I hope you enjoyed it and I'll talk soon. Bye.